My name is Lucas Prifti, access ID GX6112, and today I'm going to be going over exercise 5 for our database assignment. First things first, going to make sure we have the Java. I'm going to go to the terminal and check out the version. 20.2 Java is good, and then we're also going to check out Eclipse. I do have the database folder already installed from class. Just want to check the server here. Looks like it's started and it is running, so we should be good with that. And then here's our workbench 2. Here I have the table after I initialize, so I'm going to go ahead and run this code. So basically this right here is just creating a new test database, and then we drop a table if it already exists, so we can create a new table here if one does not exist. And here we are inserting the values into it. First name, last name, password. These are going to be of the table itself. And then once we create the table here, we're going to insert all of these values into the table for each of our users here. We can see email, we have all the users, and this is from here, from the database. Okay, and then this will select it so we can see the table. Okay, so since we already have this running, I'm going to go ahead and explain the functions today for our assignment. So first we're going to go to the login page. I'll make sure it's running on Tomcat, and here we'll see the login page. I'm going to go ahead and log in as Angelo. So it is angelo@gmail.com, angelo1234. And we're going to go ahead and log in, not now. And as we can see, we have been successfully logged in here. But we are under a user. So now I'm going to go ahead and log in under root. Root has the administrative privileges, so once we log into root, it's going to direct us to see all of the table. So let's go ahead and pass 1234, log in. And as we can see, logging in under root, it's going to give us a list of all of the users here. And this is directed, so it is already in the code that when we log in as root, pretty sure it's in DAO, it will go ahead and redirect us to the user list right here, which is what we're seeing on the screen right now. Okay, and now I want to go ahead and use the register button, so we can go ahead and register a new value, add a new user into our table. Let's go ahead and do abc@gmail.com. First name ABC, DEF. We have to enter a valid date as well, because MySQL Workbench does check that. We're just going to do ABC 1234. ABC 1234 for the password. Then we're going to click register, and our new user has been registered. So let's go over here to the workbench, and we're going to go ahead and run this line to select the table once more. And we should see, there we go. Here's the ABC, the new user that we just registered into our database here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, maybe make sure. Okay, yes, we're going to go ahead and run and initialize. Okay, so we're going to log in once more as the root, because the root has the administrative privileges. Oh, I think I did the wrong password there. Okay, and here we can also see our the new user that we just added. Okay, so before I go ahead and initialize, I want to go here to the user DAO, because this is what is going to be added into the table after we initialize here. So this is a connect function that we have here at first, and then here is our initial code which will be ran. So basically it's going to drop the database if a test database already exists. It's going to create a new database, it's going to use it, it's going to drop the table that exists, and then create a new table with these requirements. And then we're going to go to the tuples here. So these are all the values that are going to be inserted after we initialize from the root login. Okay, so basically after we hit initialize, the table that exists there should disappear. Also the ABC will be deleted, and then all of these will be added instead. I already did change the date that was giving an error here, so it should be fine to go right now. So I'm going to go ahead and initialize the database, and as we can see, ABC is gone, and then all of these values right here that were in the user DAO, they have been added to our table right now. Let's also go in the database as well, backend here, and we're going to select the table once more, and as we can see, the backend has been updated from the front end. So first we updated the front end through the back end, and now we're updating the back end through the front end. This is being made through the functions that we have in our code here. Okay. Function. Okay, so let's go ahead and log out here. And so in order to explain this, I'm going to have to go to the code really quick, and I'm going to explain these JSP pages. So first off, we have our activity page. Basically, this is the activity page is the page after we log in using a user that is not the root. So this is what's going to pop up after we use any of the other users except root here. So let's go to the login first. Basically, this is the HTML right here, setting up the title for it. And here we have the header. We have the buttons as well. To input the username, it'll take the text email. And then we have for the password as well. And then after we do login, that's when it's going to take us to the activity page here, and which is what we were seeing. Let me do this one more time here. Angelo. And here we go. So basically this is the activity page after we used the login, and we were redirected here. We can also see the output that we see on the website here. And here is our logout button too in order to go back. Okay, and then I also want to see the root view here. Root view, so this is when we log in with the root. So basically what this is here, it's still HTML, but we do have the function that when we are logging in as root, it will direct us to the list of all users right here, which is user list. And as we can see, it has it all lined out. And then here are the values that are going into each of these. And as we can see in user list as well, it is the same thing. It's a list of all of the users, but the difference is we will be seeing this when we log in as root. And then this is when we only run the user list as another user. Okay. For the user JSP, this is going to give us a login and then also a list of all of the users. And I also want to check out the register button here as well. So the register, basically what this is doing is giving us the output here of the username, first name, last name, birthday, password. So basically the data of each user, and we will be prompted to input these into the website, which will then add a new, it'll add a new user to our database here. So these are the HTMLs here, which give us the front end of the part. And now I want to go to the functions really quick too, which are in our user DAO Java. Okay, so first things first, we have our web servlet here, which will implement the class connect. And this is for the HTTP servlet. This will connect us to the database here, testdb. I've also allowed the public key retrieval and the time zone shift in order to make it work. I was having a few errors with that. And then we have our connect function to the root. So this is for the root only. This is for administrative privileges here. So basically, whenever we use root and pass 1, 2, 3, 4, it will prepare the statement, and then it will catch. We have a catch statement here as well for the exception E. And then next we have a connect function, which will connect us to the database here, and it will prompt us for a username and password. Basically, that is to retrieve access to this database. And here we have a list all users, which will basically, this is what will come out after we log in with the root. So this is going to give us the list of all users right here, and we have them as strings, and here's each attribute and then the values for each of them as well. This is where we create a new user and adding the new attributes to the table. And we have a disconnect here. We have to disconnect in order to close that one so we can connect to a new. And here is our insert statement. So basically this is for inserting all of these values into the database. So this is the function that we have on our register page. This is what's going to make possible for us giving the input, and then it will take that input from us and it will add it to the table here. And we also have a connection function to the root as well for administrative privileges. Here we have our delete function, which will this will be used in the initialize after we hit initialize, which will delete all of them. And then here we have the update as well. Right after we have deleted them, we add the new attributes to the table. We have another connect function. And here's the check email. So these are Boolean functions right here. Basically, these are just to make sure that the user has inputted a valid email and also a valid password too. So that the password is to make sure the passwords are matching with each other, and for the email, it is checking that it is a valid email address for a user. If it is not, it will just prompt you basically to do it again. No value will be added. And then here, when we have it valid, if both of them are valid, it's going to be added to the table. Here we have an if statement to see whether the password equals the password. That's just for the double authentication. Basically, it's just the part where it's confirm password and it sees whether those two match or not. And here is after we have hit initialize, and then the table has been deleted, and then after that new attributes have been added but no values, this is where we create the table for that. So it's going to here we have the initial. So basically this is what's going to run after we hit the button initialize. It'll drop a database if it already exists, it'll create a new one, and then it'll drop the table that exists. Here we are adding all the attributes to our table, and then here's our tuples again. So here all of this will be inserted to our new table after we have hit initialize. So this is the new table initialized there. And here we have the for loop, which will take all of these values and it will place it into the database. Here we have the execute initial, which will first create the table, and then we execute our tuples here, which will add each value into our table. And then we have the disconnect, obviously. Control servlet is just our servlets for this. We have the do post, do get. Here are cases for the login button, register, initialize, and etc. And the user Java. Basically, this is just our functions to get the email, get the first name, and then returning them into the table here. Okay. And this is the code that we took from here to use. I used that way before when I first started the assignment. It's basically this right here. But after we've initialized, our database has been changed over here. Okay, so login, I did the demos. I showed how each operation is in the code, explained the JSP. Alright, I guess that should be it for exercise 5. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.